Okay, that was episode 12 / episode 5 of Demon Slayer. That was awesome.
It was flashy.
It was flashy. There's no way I can go in order of importance to this episode because everything like stands out to me. But before I forget, you know that like lightning like bolt that we saw on Tengen's ear when he heard like what was happening underground? That was so cool. That has to be in Zenitsu's future. The whole just hearing, you know.
I just what I love best about kind of Tengen being the sound Hashira and Zenitsu being involved in this is that we saw from Tanjiro that the initial kind of techniques you learn aren't necessarily the ones most compatible with your body.
Yeah.
And in Zenitsu's case, he was also taken in by a former Hashira and trained in that former Hashira's technique, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the technique that is the most compatible with Zenitsu's body.
Yeah.
And Zenitsu is the one who has one technique and has perfected it and multiplies on it, but maybe he could learn a new one.
Yeah, like or just like expand.
Yeah.
You know, God, Tengen shows up, destroyer of demons on his swords. So to go off what you just said though, like Tanjiro, we got to see him using like flame breathing techniques, no?
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw him using Raging Sun, Fake Rainbow. I'm pretty sure we saw him use like Flame Wheel, right?
Flame Wheel, yeah.
Do you think he is able to switch or has the capabilities between switching other techniques easier because he knows Hinokami Kagura? And that is the first first breathing technique, and everything else is derived from that, right? So maybe he is able to learn different techniques easier than other people.
Maybe.
It's, you know what I mean?
He kind of has the foundation, the
Exactly.
good foundation to learn new techniques. Maybe that's like also something in his future. I'm not sure that he kind of
the avatar of Demon Slayer.
Avatar of Demon Slayers.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I was really loving how often they brought up sound in this episode. Like, she told Tanjiro the sound of his breathing was horrible and annoying.
That's such a good point.
And then
Anna.
she just kept saying things that were different synonyms of sound or hearing or things happening, not necessarily in regard to her hearing stuff happening, but just she was using those types of words. And I was just loving how often sound was brought up in this episode.
Yes. Zenitsu's move, I don't know if it's a separate demon or just an extension of herself. That embodiment of that belt even noticed like there's an overlapping sound with Zenitsu's lightning slash, and it was Tengen. Like the Inosuke like hearing something under the ground, even like the theme of sound to go along with the sound Hashira is so cool to have in this episode.
The belt is definitely an inanimate object that I believe Daki somehow gave its own will.
Yeah. In Dragon Ball Z,
I'm thinking.
Cell like spawned Cell Juniors. And I was worried. Now I'm not so much worried because Tengen's here, but I was worried that if this like inanimate object of Daki consumed enough humans, then it could like branch off and birth as its own kind of demon spawn, like extension of her, you know?
Yeah.
That was worrisome, but now I don't think that's going to happen because Tengen's here. I feel like this inanimate object belt is going to die or lose, or at least be cut off. So did Tengen come here instead of going to Daki and Tanjiro because he thought his wives were here, or because he trusts Tanjiro?
It seems like he might trust Tanjiro to hold out long enough for him to kind of rescue everyone else.
That worries me.
I'm not really sure because I keep thinking, well, yes, the wives are more important, or I wouldn't say, well, they're probably more important to him at this point than our three mains are, but I don't know. He wouldn't like sacrifice their lives, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like Tanjiro's life. I'm not really sure. Obviously, he knows that Tanjiro is fighting around right now. Like, he heard it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening, so I'm not really sure. Maybe he thinks that it's best that everyone can fight together. or maybe he had some faith in Tanjiro to handle things for a little while. I don't know.
It's really cool to see the progression of Tanjiro. Like he is having moral, like he's having dilemmas, you know, like I hadn't even thought like, oh, water breathing isn't suited for Tanjiro kind of thing, you know, because I don't know if we've ever seen an instance where it wasn't compatible with him. I guess we've seen instances that it didn't do the job, you know, it didn't kill a demon, but
it wasn't sharp enough.
Yeah.
She said that this one was way sharper.
Oh yeah, like you saw what happened to his blade.
Yeah.
When he was just using regular techniques or water breathing, but the flame breathing or Hinokami Kagura is definitely sharper.
I'm just concerned with the toll that it takes on his body. And like I was thinking during the episode, we're still possibly thinking with the theory that his dad was a Hashira or was a demon slayer, and this was their technique. And I'm pretty sure Rengoku's dad probably knew Tanjiro's dad. And I'm like, is that why Tanjiro's dad was so sick? If he was using this technique for so long that maybe it just takes such a toll on the human body that it's hard to withstand that lifestyle and that technique for so long. And maybe that's why the other ones are weaker. The other ones are weaker so that it actually, like, the longevity of your life is longer.
Your lifespan, yeah. I think that makes perfect sense. Like even from like a storytelling narrative, because we know Tanjiro's dad was sick, but he also continued to practice the dances while he was sick. Mm-hmm. I was very worried when we saw the flashback of Tanjiro, like he has like a fever and stuff from it. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know, man. If it's an immediate effect, like we saw, like. He was having trouble breathing and had to use recovery breathing to be able to heal himself enough to potentially try it again. How many times can he do that? How hurt is he going to get? What do you think Shinobu would have said?
I don't know, because like if you think about it, if he keeps doing it, does that mean his temperature keeps rising? Like how high can a human's temperature actually be before they like completely something horrible happens other than what's already been happening to him? I feel like Shinobu, I wish we could have seen her conversation and diagnosis and maybe even telling Tanjiro to stop doing it anymore. I'm not really sure what she would have said. Obviously, the idea was put into place that if you have a fever for that long, something is wrong.
Yeah.
And that just concerns me for the future. I don't want Tanjiro to get like burnt out, you know?
Yeah.
Literally.
Would it be an external thing because it's an anime? Like, would he start catching on fire because of his breathing techniques?
Maybe his temperature's so hot that he turns like Inferno.
Yeah. Man, those flashbacks of Rengoku,
Rengoku.
I'm so glad that we have that whole like the train arc didn't happen and then we moved on.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that it's influenced our characters so much and is like continues to play an important role in their character development.
Yes,
and techniques.
And that his brother and his dad were included in one of Tanjiro's thoughts.
Yeah.
And what was even more profound to me than them being included, it was Tanjiro talking about how he doesn't want the people he knows to feel grief. And what I thought was super interesting was which characters showed up on the screen for him thinking that. Like, I was shocked to see the one guy that lost, I think it was either his girlfriend or his fiance.
Yeah.
With the teeth chattering demon.
God, I hated that demon.
And then Owl was there. I think the three little girls from the Butterfly Mansion. And then Rengoku's
Gyu
brother.
Was there.
And Gyu, yeah.
Like it's just like I think that's such an important motive to have, and it's so powerful because I think that we kind of felt it alongside the show and the characters in the show, and it like he saw firsthand what that kind of thing does to people. What more could you ask for an inspiration, even more to want to save people, you know? It's really powerful.
Because not only do you want to save people's lives, but you want to save everyone else from having to bear the grief of losing someone they loved.
Do you think we're going to end up seeing like type weaknesses in the future, like going forward?
Even think about that.
Like with demons, like maybe water breathing works better on some demons than other, or do you think Hinakami Kagura, like flame breathing, is just OP?
I never thought about the elemental part of it coming in. Obviously certain techniques are better against other techniques purely by kind of, you know, like her belt moves so fast. It has so many, like, there's so many strands of it. So obviously a technique that would be very quick and could hit multiple points at once would probably be best. So I don't know if the elemental ever comes into play. Maybe because the demons don't really seem to have any elemental tied to them.
Yeah, very true. Even if it's not necessarily like you have fire, so I'm gonna put you out with water technique. Not even that, but like more so maybe there's a benefit to a water breathing technique, and like it's more of like a calm sense of self, and because you're more calm, that could have a benefit over a certain type of demon, whereas like flame breathing is more like, I don't know, in your face kind of.
Yeah, and I think about like Gyu's fighting techniques are, like you said, calm, like water. I mean, one of his like the favorite moment I had was when he did like deep calm or something.
Deep calm.
And then that's so different from like Tengen's moves and techniques being flashy with the sound. So it is obviously each technique, the person treats it differently. It's a different state of mind almost. Yeah. So yeah, that could have its own benefits in battle and its own.
I liked how Inosuke was like to Zenitsu, I wish you were like this all the time, or like you should say it like this all the time.
When you said that, you were like, is this the first time
we've seen it on screen?
Like on screen that Inosuke was seeing Zenitsu like that. Yeah. I think that is the case.
Yeah, I think so. I just have to say one thing that I'm so happy we got this episode that I wanted but I didn't think we'd get is seeing the wives fight and seeing more of their personality, and having Makio and Suma help was so awesome for me. I'm glad that we got the little flashback with awesome hair Tengen. I don't know how long ago that was, but that was awesome.
Do you think didn't he say, wasn't it that when he was 15 he got his wives? So maybe he was like early teens there. 15, 16, somewhere in there. It seemed like it was a recent time of getting his wives because he was kind of telling them what his kind of rules were and his philosophy on how they should treat their own lives. I feel like that might have been when he was like 15.
That's a good guess. I think that's right. Because it seemed like Makio's reaction to it was the first time she was hearing it, you know? And she was so shocked because this is like kind of the opposite of what shinobi do in their life. It's all about the mission first, not about personal lives.
I doubt they thought they'd be treated with respect.
Yeah, and love to the point of what they are, you know, like Tengen. One thing I can say I really didn't expect after the first episode of this arc was how much emotion and feeling and like empathy I get from Tengen as a character, which obviously makes me love him more. Like I care so much about him, and I am terrified that we're gonna get a Rengoku situation again. I don't know if our boys could handle it. I don't want to see. Oh, do you think Hinatsuru is gone, or do you think she's come back or gonna come back?
I'm not really sure because I'm not really sure the extent that they would kind of disobey his wishes. They all know that 100% he would die first. If it came down to them and the civilians, he would die before the civilians and before them. So I also hope we don't get another Rengoku situation, but I do know that if it came down to it, he would do the same thing that Rengoku did. Another thing that I liked from this episode. I feel like this was one of my first instances of seeing Inosuke kind of realize that there were other people in the room that he needs to pay attention to.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. That was such a good point. Like, such a good moment in the show. Like, he was like, character development for Inosuke is like top tier. Like,
top tier for sure.
But like his like acknowledgement of having to try to save other people at the same time as fighting this demon, and then like accepting the help seemingly, you know, it's kind of forced help in the instance, but like he does care. He cares about the jobs of being a demon slayer. You know, he wants to slay demons, but he also wants to protect people, which I think is partly because of Tanjiro and probably because of Rengoku too, and how they acted.
He didn't say one line that was like, I can do this, you guys don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stronger, I'm Lord Inosuke. He didn't say one line like that once the wives and Zenitsu showed up.
Yeah.
It was more like he was like, oh, Zenitsu, why can't you do this all the time?
Yeah.
Like, he was impressed with it. And it seemed like he was definitely more welcoming to the assistants.
Definitely. I'm glad that we got to see Tengen's swords because they are awesome to look at. And the return of the opening thread, which we haven't seen for a little bit. Like, I think we saw it in Mugen Train, did we? If we did, it was not...
No.
Maybe? I don't know.
Wait, yeah, with Enmu?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
maybe
that
with
might
Enmu.
have been the only instance that we saw it there.
But I love seeing it, and I love, like, my favorite part of it isn't even, like, the narrative part of it. It's more so, like, the visual, like, after he uses it on screen, you can barely see the thread still, like, on his sword, like, swaying around. I think that's so cool. Gosh, I love this show, man. I felt so hype like I did in, like, the build up to episode 19 of last season.
Yeah.
I am so ready for next episode.
I don't know what this means in terms of what's the best training going forward for Tanjiro. Is it to keep pushing his body into doing these techniques and then he builds up a stamina for it? I'm not really sure what the training would be, and I don't really know if the Sound Hashira is the one to give him that training. I feel like this is not his last stop in terms of mastering this or learning about it.
Agreed. It's scary because, like, Rengoku's brother, he was talking to him and he said that I'm still going to get stronger. I'm still going to improve. But he's paving his own path right now. He has a little more information about the Hinakami Kagura, but he doesn't have any direction. He doesn't have any, this is right, this is wrong, this is not what you should be doing. And that's scary in itself.
Because, like, he could be doing things that are actually detrimental to his stamina and his physical body.
Yeah.
When there could be a better way to train with it that doesn't do that. And he just wouldn't know. God. Anything else?
No, I just love the fight scenes in this show, man.
I like that Daki is able to be like a spider almost. And
Daki's
have, like,
badass.
Her belt can be like legs. Daki's design in general is
A1.
Flawless.
A1.
I have 0 to no issues with it. I think it is a great design.
I am worried about myself on an emotional level because I'm attracted to a demon, and I don't know what that says about me. But other than that,
I mean, she's so cute and
yeah,
cool, and her design is awesome, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I love her like just power, you know. I think it's so cool, and like I love that it's not just, oh, I have these extensions of myself like Doc Ock and I can hit people with them. No, she can absorb people. She can like talk through them. She can, you know, like use them as like surveillance devices.
And she kept them in a food locker. Gosh.
Yeah, that was such a haunting terminology, and I also love that Daki seemingly gives people belts if she is suspicious of them to keep like a tab on them.
Oh yeah,
that's
good,
so cool.
Good remembering on that. Dang.
That's a really cool like little piece of character there.
I liked how that moment kind of brought Tengen's wives into more like they're not at the level maybe a Hashira would be. Obviously they're not at Tengen's level, but just the like pure fear that was on her face when she's being handed that belt and
yeah.
Daki was in front of her. I was like, I was kind of like, dang.
It's a lot to ask.
I feel like it was a huge ask to send them in this situation. And I think Tengen didn't realize exactly how serious the situation was.
How close maybe they'd get to a demon. You know,
I feel like if he thought there was a chance that his wives wouldn't even be able to run away if they were close to death, I don't think he would have sent them in there.
Which I think, like, I wasn't sure about how he was going to treat his wives or treat, like, anybody really going into this, like, this arc and just meeting him. But I'm so happy with where they went so far with this character. I'm so excited to see
He's had
more.
really great character development from, like, me kind of not being his fan at all. Even when we got glimpses of him in season 1 and all he had to say was that he likes things flashy, I was like, that's cool. But, like, what about emotions? And
little did you know.
Little did I know that he's actually a pretty caring guy, especially for the people that he loves and that he's closer to. I'm sure he has care and stuff for like Inosuke, Tanjiro, Zenitsu now.
We saw so much like happen with Tanjiro, man. We saw like an after image technique, like where Daki like tried to kill him and then it was like a fake. That was so cool.
That was cool.
And
she like had no clue where he was. That was great.
I was like, we've never seen this before, right? Like, okay, that's all I have for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we really hope to see you next week for episode 6 of the Entertainment District arc.
You know, like her belt moves so fast. It has so many, like, there's so many strands of it. You know, like her belt moves so fast. It has so many, like, there's so many strands of it. There's so many strands of it.
There's so many strands of it.